Hey guys, I'm DL and this is Women Throwing Leather. I just wanted to do a quick video, just kind of give you a recap, give you my impression, my thoughts of how the fight went down, and just kind of run through some things real quick of what Holly accomplished last night. If you haven't heard, Ronda Rousey is no longer the champ, as well as no longer being undefeated. So Holm is the new UFC 135 bantamweight champion. I'm still, to this day, honestly, I'm still speechless. History was made. Something that nobody really expected. She defeated Ronda Rousey in spectacular fashion, which I'm going to go into later in the video. I honestly don't think Ronda was prepared for what Holly brought. I think Ronda underestimated Holly. If you watch that fight, you can see that Holly and Ronda are on different levels. Ronda has never faced a world-class fighter like that. Because it's one thing to be a world-class athlete, you know, like Sarah McMahon was a silver medalist in wrestling, but that's not fighting, that's wrestling. Holly is a multi-division world-class boxer. I mean, that's a striking sport. You look at that fight and Holly just outstruck her, beat her in striking on every single level. Holly literally put on a clinic, and I don't think anybody expected that. And I think another thing too is that Ronda had never been rocked like that. Ronda had never been hit that hard consecutively in the face. Ronda's been hit in the face, you know, by Sarah McMahon and by Miesha Tate, but never consecutively like that, and with the amount of power that Holly is putting forth. I mean, with a solid left or right. I mean, she hit her square in the face every time, nearly every time Ronda came in, which no one has ever done that to Ronda. Because you're talking about Holly Holm, who is a world champion multi-division boxer. She's going to hit differently than Sarah McMahon or Miesha Tate or Liz Carmouche. Joe Rogan has said in other fights, you know, after you get hit so many times in the head, it takes your energy out. And you could see that it's slowly zapping Ronda's energy. Because after that first round, she just looked out of it. She'd been hit numerous times in the face, and she's chasing Holly around the cage. Holly never stops moving. It's really hard to get a hold of Holly because she's constantly circling. She's circling to the right, circling to the left. It's really difficult to get a hold of her. So every time Ronda would try to get in, Holly would circle out of it. Which, by the way, Holly's cardio is bar none above anybody else in the 135. Part of that transfers from her boxing days of going 10 rounds. You know, as a boxer, you know, you have to be able to have cardio to last that long in there. And Ronda's never fought 10 rounds. You know, she's never gone that long. So on basing cardio versus cardio, she's not going to beat Holly on cardio. And it was clear last night that she didn't beat Holly on cardio. At one point, she went in to clinch Holly. Holly just sidestepped her and ducked underneath. Ronda went straight, like head first into the cage, and Ronda missed her completely. And as she came off the cage, you could see her stumble. No one had ever made Ronda stumble like that. No one had ever rocked Ronda like that. No one had ever, maneuvered like that against Ronda. As the fight progressed, you could see the desperation in Ronda, which I have never seen from Ronda. In her 12 fights, I have never seen Ronda desperate like she was last night. She was desperately chasing Holly around that cage, just trying to lock on her, to hit her. And she couldn't. As soon as I saw that, I said, this is it. This is happening tonight. And Holly capitalized on Ronda's desperation, and she sealed it with a head kick. Ronda stumbled, and as she got a little bit, she was bent over. As she got to her feet, Holly waited for her to turn around. Holly hit her with a left head kick, and Ronda fell to the mat. Ronda was out. She was out before she hit the ground. I said in my previous video, if you want to watch my previous video of my 2-minute breakdown of this fight, I said it in my video that Holly's head kicks are lethal. And I mean that. I mean, they are. She has knocked people out with her head kicks, and she did it again last night. I mean, it was a beautiful, just a gorgeous performance from Holly. And I don't say that to demean Ronda. I'm not trying to be mean to her or take anything away from Ronda. But it was a spectacular performance from Holly Holm. Her cardio was better. Her striking was better. She performed above Ronda on many different levels last night. What Holly accomplished last night works on so many levels. One, she did what none of the other women in the 135 division could do. and that's beat Ronda Rousey. So what that does is, since Ronda was here and all the other 135ers were essentially in this range, when Holly beat Ronda, that kind of put Holly here. So now you have Holly here, Ronda's right here, and the rest of them are down here. So what Holly did is essentially set herself apart from the pack. And I mean that in terms of skill and performance and what she brings to that cage. She accomplished what no one else could do. It wasn't just a fluke. She didn't get a lucky shot on Ronda. She beat Ronda for a round and a half. It wasn't even close. No one has ever beaten Ronda in the first round. Holly legitimately beat Ronda on so many levels last night. In a round and a half, she beat her every single time. What she also did is now she is a title holder in 2 different sports. She's a multi-sport champion. Joe Rogan said it. Holly fought a perfect fight. She made no mistakes. What she did in that cage was a perfect fight. There was no mistakes on her part at all. It's someone to go in there and fight a perfect fight and not make any mistakes and do every single thing perfectly is really, I mean, it's spectacular. On social media, everybody was talking about it, and, obviously the Ronda haters came out and were ripping Ronda apart, and she got what she deserved, and good for her, and, talking all that smack. Whatever. You're always going to have haters. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. People are going to love Ronda. People are going to hate Ronda. It doesn't matter. Ronda chose to play the heel. She chose to play the bad guy in MMA, and she was okay with that. I don't think she's really concerned about the haters and what they're saying about her, because it doesn't really matter to her. But what Ronda has accomplished, people need to remember that, what Ronda did or has done for MMA. None of the females, Holly wouldn't even be in the UFC if it wasn't for Ronda. Ronda, kicked that door open and paved the way, essentially, for women to be in the UFC. So let's give respect where respect is due. Ronda is still an amazing fighter. You don't go 12-0 without being an amazing fighter. She essentially cleared out the 135 division from the top down. The bottom line is this. Last night, Holly was the better fighter. I'm sure Ronda will admit that Holly was the better fighter. There's always going to be someone bigger, and there's always going to be someone better. It's just the fact of life. It is what it is, Like that said, anything can happen in the cage, It's the slogan, any given Sunday. Any given Sunday. Anything can happen in that cage. Someone has to win, someone has to lose. So just the final thoughts. It is what it is. Ronda lost. People never thought she was going to lose. So for those Ronda fans out there who were naive in thinking that Ronda is never going to lose, you're just that. You're naive. When Holly was asked about Ronda and whether she's, beatable, Holly simply said, you know what? Everybody is beatable. And she proved it last night. Everybody can lose on any given Sunday. So to recap, what Holly accomplished last night, 1, she did what nobody else in the 135 division could do, is beat a champion, is beat Ronda Rousey. 2, she's now a title holder in 2 different sports. 3, she made a statement. She set the bar extremely high that is going to cause all the other women in the 135 to raise their game to meet that level. She showed the level that she fights on, and if you're going to beat Holly Holm, you have to rise to that occasion. You have to beat her on that level. I'm excited to see what happens now, because this literally changes everything. It's an exciting time for women's mixed martial arts. So once again, I am D. Allen. Thanks for watching Women Throwing Leather.